Some additional tools that we're interested in is differential analysis, pricing strategies, target costing, target pricing. We'll also introduce lean, the area of constraint, and some benchmarking discussions, all of which will go into our toolkit as we try to help the organization understand their cost, understand and help them make better decisions. So what else are we going to take a look at? So we're going to introduce this idea of establishing and managing a process for planning and control. So when we think about planning, we think about an organization having a mission, having strategic plans, and then having an annual detailed roadmap to achieve that. And that's what we refer to as a budget. Once I have a budget in place, I have to then monitor that, and that's the control part. So I put reporting in place to monitor how I'm doing against my roadmap to achieve my strategic plan and my mission. And that has to be timely and meaningful to ensure that management can stay on top of things and make the right adjustments. We recognize that one size does not fit all, so we'll look at a variety of different tools in terms of planning and control, and we'll introduce this idea of the balanced scorecard will be a big part of our discussion when we get to the whole planning and control. And we'll also talk about some other things like responsibility accounting and some capital planning ideas. We'll introduce this idea of strategic cost management and as part of the managerial accounting learning and contribution. And we'll introduce some of the key concepts here. And I'm not going to go through this right now. We'll come back to that. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned before, this idea of cost incurrence versus cost commitment. So we commit cost typically long before we incur it. And so we have to be very careful about what decisions we're making and what that's going to mean in terms of our cost structure over time, because eventually the cost will catch up to our decisions. Okay, so the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that when we talk about managerial accounting, we're talking about internal users, we're talking about making the organization making better decisions. For those of you who've taken financial accounting, you know the focus is on preparing the organization's financial statements, the income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flows, and basically the target audience and for financial accounting are external people, investors and creditors. For managerial accounting, our target audience is the organization, senior management and key decision makers, and providing them with the right information and tools. Okay, so you can read through this. I'm going to skip over this for a minute. I just want to mention one other point, which is this idea of ethics. Every profession has a code of ethics, and the managerial accounting world is no exception. And one of the big, there are 4 standards of competence, of ethics, I'm sorry. That being competence, confidentiality, integrity, and objectivity. So competence, I think, is a standard in every profession, right? We have to keep up with the changes and the laws and the rules and the regulations. But in terms of the pressures that management accounting often face, it's this idea of keeping your independence, keeping your integrity, keeping your objectivity. Because at the end of the day, we're not there to ensure that the results that we project get achieved. We're there to make sure that people are objective in their decision, have the right data, and that they follow the rules. And so we have to walk that balance between helping the organization make better decisions, but also ensuring the integrity of what we're doing. And so it can be a tricky thing, and we'll come back and look at this in more detail as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next week 1 topic, which is going to be on when cost matters.